We are on the record. Thank you very much, Neil, for calling. I saw your message about Twitter fueling the run on the banks, and I guess I would just really like to know, a little bit more.
Okay, what we have is a paradigm shift in the current age. Used to be, I'd say even back in the 80s, the last time we had a big issue with the banks, uh, it, rumors would go around and people would come and then stand in line in the bank and, to grab their money. But now with the advent of things like Twitter, you can send one message right now and it reaches millions of people.
Mm-hmm.
So given that multitude of different people out there, that information about the banks becomes widespread, and then you have this massive amount of people coming wanting their money.
Yeah.
Or to move it or whatever, it's, but the banks can't cover it because right now, with the interest rates going up, they are, they bought all these federal bonds
Mm-hmm.
At the lower rates,
Mm-hmm.
or when they were less.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, if they go in and sell those bonds, they're going to take them at a loss. And you have to sell those bonds in order to cover the cash that's needed by the banks. Now, that's just what's causing the current paradigm or the current issue with the banks. Is just happening at a much quicker pace than it has in the past.
Does this have any kind of I guess anything to do with the fact that Blackstone defaulted on all that foreign on all those foreign bonds like 2 weeks ago or like a week ago?
Oh no, that's just a symptom.
Okay. Okay. So just
Okay.
all right, more of a symptom than anything.
Yeah. And it's the Fed. The Fed is the Fed is the arsonist
Mm-hmm.
and the firefighter.
Okay. That I actually get that, especially with Powell speaking today.
Yeah. And so they're the ones that create the problem, and now they're having to fix the problem.
Yeah.
And doing that, they're having to infuse, at this point, sometimes trillions of dollars to be able to cover these different issues. And that's really what I was trying to get to. Is just a quick, current technology allows for broader communication, which in turn can turn more people around very quickly, and it overwhelms your financial institutions across the board.
Okay. Okay. And out of curiosity, any over the night thoughts about Credit Suisse, or are we still in the same camp that we were thinking yesterday?
I think we are. It's an institution.
It's a risky play.
Versus a just another savings and loan. So these guys aren't going to be allowed to go anywhere.
And I was looking at the ownership of I'll pull it actually right now. I was looking at the ownership of Credit Suisse, and it's actually pretty interesting. Let me go ahead and pull it super quick. If it will load, that'd be ideal.
Right. Well, I know what you've said about Blackstone and Fidelity and some of these others, but the big people you want to look for are the Rothschilds
Okay.
and the Rockefellers.
Okay. Here, I'll be able to tell you who's on this list in a second if it would load for me. Give me a second. There were some nice names on it though. I do want to say that.
Yes.
So let's see here. Finally, man, the computer really isn't that old. All right. So the Saudi National Bank. They own 10%. Now, yesterday, Ortex was reporting Qatar as owning 8 point something percent, but they're not reporting that today. It might show up tomorrow. I've seen that happen plenty of times where like it just misses for a day, right? BlackRock owns over 4%. Vanguard owns over 3%. Dodge and Cox owns 3%. Credit Suisse, they own 2.2%. Their Switzerland branch owns 1.09. UBS owns 1.83. And then I did also see, and I guess I had a question about this too. I saw an article about UBS potentially nixing the sale, or I guess nixing the purchase of Credit Suisse, right? What kind of potential effects do you think that may have on Credit Suisse itself?
Well, it's the real issue, I think, is what's caused it. Did they throw a lot of money out there on crypto?
What I think it was, all right, so in Credit Suisse's specific instance, I think it was more so the credit default swaps. They had so many of them, right? Because we just went through the witching day, right? And there was, I guess, like some kind of new law passed regarding it, and I think that they got hit with the credit default swaps. They were basically left worthless with like billions upon billions of dollars worth of money. Now,
Right.
also though, I was looking at their assets, and I know that their assets and their liabilities are two totally different things. However, their assets were reading as $541 billion worth of assets, right? Um, which again, like I said, totally different than just like a constant revenue. And but the thing is that it's only trading at $3.5 billion right now. That's fucked up, right? Or am I just like?
Well, you said it's trading at what now?
Here I'll look again. Yesterday it was like $3.5 billion.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying the stock was $3.5.
Oh no. Okay, so Ortex is reading it as $3.78 billion right now.
Okay.
And they have $541 billion worth of assets. And again, I know that they lost a lot of money. I know a lot of people lost a lot of money. Pretty here recently. However, like we were talking about the outstanding business, like their what's it called like their experience and our idea that they're probably not going to go anywhere. And I'm thinking that that's a pretty low market cap for the assets that they have.
Yeah. Well, see, their assets, I'm willing to bet, aren't liquid.
I bet you they have a lot of real estate assets too.
Yeah. Well, I know, for an example, that they have pieces of private companies in places like Estonia.
Hmm.
Because they're coming out with, those guys got great electronics coming out of that particular country. In fact, one of the trying to what holds DC power, capacitive, that's the word I was looking for. The buses in Paris run on a capacitor, this massive, giant capacitor that Estonia makes.
Wait, can you say that again?
Yeah, Estonia makes this giant capacitor
Okay.
that they put on buses,
Okay.
and I'm using them now in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it only takes them a couple of blocks, a couple of stops worth, and as soon as they pull in to the stop, it just automatically hooks up and recharges the capacitor. It takes like 6 seconds.
Wow, that's incredible.
Because it's all DC power. You're not sticking it in a battery, so it's ready to use now. In fact, that was capacitors. If you're going to go in an electric car, or something that you need to have in place
Mm-hmm.
in order to get that quick takeoff, because you'll use the power out of the capacitor to go, and then your battery kicks in. And also charge the capacitor at the same time. But these guys in Estonia came up with all this stuff.
I mean, that's actually brilliant. Six. I mean, we're talking about charging vehicles right now in the United States for like 2 hours.
Yeah, but see, the difference is your capacitor expends it all very quickly.
Okay. Okay.
So it's not feasible just to run the car on it. Now, as technology improves, maybe you can.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
And out of curiosity, this is the $1,000,000 question, right?
Yeah.
What do you think that they hiked today? Do you think that they hiked 25, or what are we thinking?
As far as Credit Suisse.
No. Powell, because Powell's today.
Oh yeah, he's gonna hike.
Yeah, but do you think that do you think he goes over 25, or do you think that he kind of stops himself there?
I thought he was going to probably go 3/4 of a point, but he may go to 5.
See, I think the market tanks if he does 5. I don't know why.
Well, if he doesn't, remember, they're having to break it. He said it up front. I don't care if I have to break it.
He did say that too. He literally said he didn't really care if he went like full on Paul like Volcker.
Right.
That's kind of intimidating now that I really think about that.
Okay. So, what did I say about a recession?
Yeah, I know. You said what? Next year and a half, at least.
No, probably starting this summer.
Yeah. How long though? I thought you said like about a year and a half to about 2 years.
Well, I would say if you get a business-oriented Republican, and I'm not talking Trump or anything like that. I kind of like Nikki Haley. She's cute. Anyway, someone that's going to come in and go pro-business, help the small companies.
I agree with you 100%. 100%. I'll be honest, like, and this isn't even counting like trading, of course, right? But like, I've never made more money from like an individual like I don't know, like a day job, right? Than I did during than I did during Trump. I mean, but like I'm not. At the same time, I also lean left in some aspects too. So I don't know. I'm kind of weird.
Well, he is. The guy's got an MBA from up at Wharton.
Isn't that where you went? Isn't that where you went though, Neil, as well?
I went up for some different sorts of things that are MBA related. Because when you get an MBA, you can focus in different areas.
Uh-huh.
And I went up there to get a better foundation on finance.
Oh, okay. That's fair enough. Fair enough.
So
you.
I mean, because you can get an MBA in operations, research, finance, accounting. There's a number of different things that are out there as far as that particular program. I started off in operations research
Okay.
and then moved to finance and also business management was my key MBA.
Now say he goes ahead and hikes, what you were expecting, right? Or let's say a soft middle. Okay, I said 25, you said 75, right? So let's say he hikes 50, right? How do you think that affects the banks? And I know that I have a bank play out, so like I'm not referring to my specific bank play. I
It's
guess
going to impact them on their bond prices.
which if they hike to the higher side, do you think that would be good or bad for the bank? Please talk to
Well,
me like
if
I'm a
the bank,
toddler.
if people are running on the bank
uh,
and the numbers that they are,
uh,
i.e., that Twitter run,
yeah.
It will impact them from the standpoint that let me get my mind together here.
Okay.
It will impact them from the standpoint that they'll need cash and they'll have to sell their bonds and they'll be selling them at a loss.
Okay. Okay. One would argue that no matter what they sell right now, they might be selling at a loss.
So, very true. But like I said, your biggest, I guess your base thing with Credit Suisse, I don't think a lot of their assets are liquid.
Yeah.
So that is probably their near-term problem.
Near term. Okay. Okay. Now here's one thing.
And they may have overextended themselves that way.
Oh, absolutely. I don't doubt that one bit. One thing that I did find slightly bullish. Okay, and it's hard to find a bullish thing in the banking sector at the current moment, right? But anyways, slightly bullish in my humble opinion. Yesterday the ECB came out with a statement regarding like strength in deposits and things of that nature, right? And Credit Suisse has like a much more like foreign clientele than FRC does, right?
Yeah.
And if we didn't put anything out, we basically, I mean, I think Biden had something to do with like the Indians yesterday. He had something to do with the Native American something. You know what I mean? And he didn't even address banks. So like I just kind of find that interesting as well.
He still thinks he created 12 million jobs.
Oh my! Oh yeah, don't even get me started on that.
Let's be real. All they did was open everything from COVID.
Yeah. Well, they fired everyone. They fired everyone just to hire them back, and it I don't know. It doesn't seem logical to me.
So, but he created 12 million jobs by ending COVID.
Hey, you're not looking at my chart by chance, are you?
No, I closed my laptop up because I didn't want to get a feedback.
Okay.
Voiceover.
Jimmy has a question for you, and you could answer it back in chat later on. Whenever you have time, right? He was wondering if you'd look at something called it's BANX, so it's banks with an X instead of a K. So, and what I'm seeing on a 4 hour is I'm seeing a very, very large potential cup and handle. And then I'm seeing just underneath the 200, I'm seeing what could be a double bottom on the 4 hour coming back to the 200. So it might be an interesting chart. It's a bank play, obviously. But
what are the naked shorts?
Let's take a look. He literally just said this to me, so like I haven't had a chance to do any of this kind of stuff. Give me 1 second.
Right. To see if that to me is you in today's market, at the rate they're shorting everything.
It's not heavily shorted at all. It's 24% short yesterday. The day before was 22. Day before that was 32. Day before that was 32.89. 32, 21,
So we're
34.
we're talking about 30% right now. And if there's nothing wrong with it, then that may be
Might be an
a
interesting
good
one.
thing.
Yeah, and then
Uh,
it also has a 7% divvy per year.
yeah, and that's good.
Right? I
You
mean,
know,
that's an interesting shout.
yeah.
Um,
You know,
do you that now? I guess I have to ask you this. Do you have a favorite bank play at the moment on like a rebound play?
I do not.
Okay.
I'll be candid. I don't look at the banks very often because, especially in this market,
Uh,
because you never know what's going to happen.
yeah. Well, yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
there's certain sectors, uh, given the social political environment, I just pull back from it. Like right now, I wouldn't be doing a rep. I wouldn't be doing banks. I would be looking for those things that are coming up. You know, like AI, for an example.
So you like AI?
Uh,
So you like AI and tech too?
yeah, I mean that's sort of the only thing, and I also like commodities.
Okay.
You know, the gold going up, and you know, for everyone out there, or even the overall market,
Mm.
for everyone out there, uh, especially the new people, there's always those ETFs. You know, three times or two times what the market is doing,
Those are fun.
and they're yeah, and you can buy them for going up or down. So that to me would be where I would feel most comfortable
Yeah.
with something. It's relatively, you know, you can kind of see where those commodities are going,
Uh-huh.
and you, like I said, you could take it either way. Uh, right now, I'd be buying the inverse on the Dow.
Would you?
Yeah, I mean,
Hold on one second, Neil.
especially
Jimmy,
coming in the quarter.
give me one second, Neil. Jimmy, I've been talking about AI lidar for probably like the last like year. Well, since they went public, I believe it was. So yeah. Um, I'm sorry, Neil. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm all about AI. Yeah. Oh, SoundHound actually got a buy signal today on Ortex. We actually look at that real quick if you want.
Huh.
Um, do you have any types of like have you looked into different types of AI? Like have you like
Well, the one I would like to get into,
can we know which one it
uh,
is?
you we can't do it through the means we're talking about now. Uh, for those people out there that have $500,000,
Uh-huh.
you can now go to these different trading companies
Uh-huh.
and put that $500,000 in that company. Some are $1 million, but they allow you to buy into the same company Bill Gates does. You know, like this new AI they have for the computers that'll do your term paper for you.
Well, Bill Gates is actually like one of like the largest holders of I believe it's called of ECL. Just so you know.
Yeah, but see, there are groups like that out there
Uh,
uh, for the richer people
uh,
where they can go in and buy a stake in those type of companies.
Mm.
It's not stock because they don't have stock, but you're buying a stake in that company.
So I'm gonna say something. I don't know if I'm even allowed to say it. Well, no, I think I should be allowed to say it. So about
It's a question you're asking me.
yeah, you're right. So it's fine if I'm asking you. You're right. Thank you for clearing that up. So about 2 years ago, right? I went to San Francisco. Okay, and there was an acquaintance who happened to work for that company Neuro that I did a video on the other day, right?
Right?
Now, I like we were all tuned up, we had some drinks and yeah, I mean you know how the night goes, right? So, he actually like handed me his phone and let me go through like the company's Discord and like go through like problems and like stuff like that. I shouldn't have any problems with that, being that that was 2 years ago, right? Like, I don't have a position of neuro
Yeah.
at all, right?
But you have to get into a lot of these private companies.
Uh,
You have to go through these upper end financial management companies.
he was telling me that UPS was trying to buy them at like I think it was like $100 a share, right? And right now, and now it was he didn't use the word share. He used the word um he used a different word other than share. So it kind of supports that, but Neuro is currently trading at $1.50.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like Mint Mobile.
Mm-hmm.
They got bought out, and Mr. Ryan walked away with $300 million because he had a 1/3 or 30% share of the company, and they bought it for $1 billion. So, but he still has to be the spokesperson for the company.
Talk about a payday, huh?
Yeah, I mean that beats doing the movies.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So no favorite bank at all, really. That's kind of that's a little bit intimidating. Just a little bit intimidating.
Well, yeah, like I said, there's. I would, if you could go online and look up what banks are owned by the Rothschilds
Uh,
and the Rockefellers have a chunk of it with them.
okay.
But if you look up the different banks that they own,
Okay.
okay, I'm not going to say really certain or positive, but I think you'll notice a trend that you won't see with these other banks, and that is they won't be getting as many of their banks having, well, there won't be that many runs on their particular banks.
Okay.
I think you will find that they even own a good chunk of the Bank of China.
Hey, I got a good one for you, Neil, that you might actually really like. Okay. It's called
Huh?
it's called FOA. Finance of America Companies. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is something that I remember when I did that retirement list a long time ago, like when I was first
Mm-hmm.
starting. This is one of the ones that was on the list. What they do is they do like the reverse mortgages, right? Um,
Right.
Only 45% of the companies for sale. Okay, and then oh, I don't want to do that. Let's see. Look at the holders. Um, let's see. The holders are. Oh wow, Blackstone's off this list. I'm sorry. Never mind. you know how I told you before that that thing was off of that other chart,
Yeah.
the holders. Um, on FOA, Blackstone isn't there. Blackstone was showing that it was only, or that it owned like 80%, but it's not there right now. Now I'm just seeing like Vanguard, BlackRock, Geode. So I mean, it's State Street. Like it still has backing, of course, but
Yeah.
it didn't have that 80% Blackstone ownership that I did like. I still like the company, and I'd want to see like a follow up Ortex on it, but obviously, I'm not as proud to tell you about it, I guess. Now that I'm not seeing the holders. But do you think that something like that, where it's more mortgage related, has a better chance than something that's obviously crypto related?
Well, your mortgage is, or the number of mortgages are going down
Mm-hmm.
because of the interest rate hike. I mean, there is a new housing build. There's a large number of houses being built.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is the number of buyers again, and that's also, the housing market is an indicator for big businesses and other business. When the housing market drops off, that's your initial indicator on a recession. I mean, or it's you're on the way, I should say. But with the interest rate increase,
Uh-huh.
people are used to getting 2 and 3%,
Uh-huh.
and I'm not sure what it is now, but I'm sure it's well over 6 or 7.
Yeah, I think it's in that range.
Yeah, it's going to cause people to have sticker shock. I came back from Germany in 1984,
Mm-hmm.
and my interest rate was 9%
Wow.
on the house I bought. But we were in the middle of the Carter, the Carter recession there.
Yeah.
When I lived in Germany, it was great.
Yeah. I believe it.
I went from like a Mark 25 to the dollar to 4 marks to the dollar.
Yeah. So you were living.
And so my rent was nothing. I was able to save in just a couple of months enough to buy a new Beamer to bring home.
I love how you actually brought it home with you too, instead of just buying it, when you got back. Mm.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing was, in Germany, you've got a thing called Mehrwertsteuer. It's the sales tax.
Okay.
All right. And the way the law is set up there, as a car dealer has to advertise a price for a car.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you have to pay taxes for that price. In this case, it was 36,000 marks.
Okay.
So I would have to, if I were German, I would have to pay 14% on that. But since I was American military, I was able to get the paperwork that exempted me from paying that. Now, here's how they work the deals there.
Uh-huh.
After you pay them up front,
Mm-hmm.
for the whole amount,
Mm-hmm.
they will now give you some back under the table.
Okay.
In this case, I got 6,000 marks back under the table.
Okay. Okay.
But I had to show up with 36,000 marks
Well, yeah.
up front.
Yeah.
So it's having to get that money, and then the rest you just kind of save. You wait for a day that the mark is starting to look a little more a better deal than the dollar, so you now buy the more dollars cheaper. But I mean, that's just a for instance, and it now when you come back into all of these things, because I look at all the different presidents
Uh-huh.
that I've seen over my lifetime,
Mm-hmm.
where there's been a recession. And just about every one of them, with the exception of Bush, and that was really not his fault. That was a Dodd-Frank, Barney Frank screwed the pooch on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Democrats caused the recession,
Okay.
or it happened under their watch.
So it's kind of bothering me a little tiny bit that you don't like banks, and I understand why, right? Obviously, I think that they're a huge risk, right? But
I mean, if the bank's solid, and and people see that it's solid, then there's a lot of potential upside there. The issue is across the board, financial across the board is
it looks dicey.
yeah. So why risk your money?
no,
There's other places you can do it.
you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. I think that we briefly touched into this in our last conversation, but do you think that like the increase in these crypto assets has anything to do with the fact that these banks are so over leveraged that they're trying to like almost artificially raise the prices that way they could collateralize more?
Well, I think the reason some of these banks are getting hit because they overextended on crypto. Because one of our first discussions was my view on crypto is it's worthless.
Mm-hmm.
You may say it's worth X, but
the dollar is the dollar.
it's not. Yeah, it's not worth anything more than what that token costs to make.
There's some things that I know about
Okay.
some cryptos where I have a little bit of a disagreement with you, but that's it's neither here nor there.
Well, yeah, I mean it's a poker chip.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, but see, I know here Bitcoin though is something else because it's considered a commodity.
Yeah, isn't that very odd? How Hinman came out and said that say ETH wasn't a security, for instance, right? Along with like Bitcoin, right? And now they're like trying to like re-challenge it. I just feel like with the XRP lawsuit and how long it's dragged out, right? I almost feel like they're trying to time it up along with the Web3 release. Like how they've been talking about Web3 for so long. I'm almost wondering if they're trying to time out like the market absolutely like crapping itself and then releasing Web3 and trying to fix it with crypto. Is that too tinfoil hattish?
It anything's possible. I'll be candid with you.
Okay.
If they can pull that off, then yeah. I think the big issue with crypto is that the lawmakers have no control on it.
Well,
And
oh, and
as
and what
long
happened
as they
yesterday?
can't,
Did you see what happened yesterday? DeSantis ruled that he made like a state legislation or whatever it is, a state order. I forget the exact name of it, but that there can be no central or CBDCs, so no central backed digital currencies, which I think is fantastic for the crypto industry as a whole. But I mean, to each their own. You know what I mean? It just like we've seen how many stable coins get depegged at this point. You know what I mean?
right. Well, your big issue when it comes to crypto
Mm.
is back to what you just said a few minutes ago. The dollar on the front of it says this is legal tender.
Yep.
That crypto token or whatever you have,
Is only worth what someone's
no,
willing to pay for it,
on
right?
there that this is legal tender.
So like the reason why I feel the way I do, I suppose, right, is because they like, for instance, we could talk about we won't even talk about XRP. We'll talk about XDC, for instance, right? XDC is deflationary, right? They trade at 3 cents, and they have a partnership with the Nasdaq. So what my idea is from my research is that they're going to go ahead and they're going to be settling every single transaction on the Nasdaq stock exchange. And they're trading at 3 cents. And if they're deflationary, I find that a little bit interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. Call me crazy, I guess, right? But
It's thinking outside of the box is great. You know, I I always encouraged it. It was the ones that thought inside the box. I didn't care for because now you have a bureaucrat. You know, for
I
all
feel like too
intents
many
and
people
purposes.
think I feel like too many people think in the box, and
Yeah.
I like to think, like, I don't know, I guess what people are really thinking rather than what the government's telling us that what they're thinking, because
Right.
they seem like they're obviously doing two way different things. Um, I mean, the way that they handled this, I mean, you definitely have more experience than I do, but you could have pretty much foretold that this almost exact circumstance was going to happen about 2 years ago, right?
Oh yeah. As soon as Biden got elected, uh, my recommendation was sell all your stocks, short the Dow, and look at your commodities because especially oil at that time, because that was gonna skyrocket.
Jeez. Neil, when was the last year that you practiced in a fund that you were running the fund?
Oh gosh, it's been 6 years.
Can I ask you a
It'll
personal
be
question?
6 years this summer.
Can I ask you a personal question and you can tell me to go fuck myself? If you don't
Well,
mind me asking.
I can tell you to do that before you ask.
Well, absolutely. But I just want to. I just I like to just be a straight shooter with everyone.
Go ahead, Ben.
Um,
Go ahead.
so out of curiosity, just so people like understand, why I value your intelligence as much as I do and your input. Can you do you have any idea of what you cleared like the last year that you were operating the fund? Just because I think that it would obviously gather some credibility.
Uh, what the that fund cleared or
Well, I
the
guess yeah. Yeah, with you
well,
at with you at the helm.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you because mine, like I said before, it was small business focused. Those
Okay.
were my clients. Okay.
So
All
you
right.
so you probably didn't have too much of like a like a risk appetite. You probably were, more of like
Oh
the
no, I listen. I didn't mind taking risks
mm-hmm.
where as long as the due diligence was done. In other words, the risk reward
Was weighed out.
was weighed out, and you really kind of have to do that. But no, those guys were making between 20 and 25% a year.
Yeah, but like dollars and cents. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to. Like, you don't have to tell me if you don't want to. I'm just trying to, gauge it for the audience, so then they're like, they understand why I feel the way that I do, if that makes sense. Because I know from talking to you, but at the same time, sticker shock, like you said, has a big impact on some people, and I guess I'd certainly want people to understand the value that I place on your information.
Well, it was it was doing well enough that the sell price was in nine figures.
That's awesome, Neil. That's awesome. Yeah, man.
So
Yeah, we can leave it up to imagination from there. We
it,
we don't have to be specific,
well,
but we could definitely leave it up to imagination from there.
let's say the lower half of nine figures.
That's so impressive, so very very impressive.
So
And
it's really I can't say, but
no. I appreciate what you did say. So
because I get hit with a lot of restrictions
uh
because they didn't want me coming back as a competitor.
mm-hmm.
So it's basically you got to retire.
It is what it is, right?
Right. And what do I have to do on days when it's rainy and I can't go do the things I want to?
Hang out with us.
Well, I came up with my little video game, which is the stock market.
I love it.
Nothing more than $5, and I start with 100,000 at the beginning of the year, and I was doing very well 2 years ago, clearing $1 million at the end of the year.
Uh huh.
I mean, it was like too easy.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Wait, we hung up. Hold on a second. Let me call him back.
you still there?
I'm with you, Neil. Okay. I was about to actually clip the video if you weren't going to answer, but I'm happy you did.
Yeah, apparently we got cut there.
It's okay. No big deal. So now you don't like banks, and understandably so. You don't like the crypto aspect. How do you feel about precious metals and like mining?
Uh, I think all of those are, once again, those are commodity assets, and that's one area I like.
Is there any kind of specific mining
Yeah.
metal that you like the most per se?
I think you could look across the board. That Eurasium, I'm correct my pronunciation there.
Of course.
because Blackbach and those guys have started getting into some of those particular areas. It's there's an erythrium. I'm not sure how to pronounce the name there, but it's one of those rare metals that they're starting to buy up, and that's if the big guys are buying it up, then that they're doing it for a reason.
Okay, so so basically you like profitable mining companies as like in that sector, where the
Right.
where the big boys are buying.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about Bitcoin mining either.
Oh no. Yeah, we're talking about precious metals here, of course, but
When Congress did a hearing on Bitcoin mining using so much power and its carbon footprint, I was just kind of shaking my head, going, "Next."
That's so funny. All right. Well, I have to take care of the dogs here before open. I'm gonna let you go. Thank you very much for all of your insight, of course, as always. And are you gonna be in chat where if somebody has something for you? Because
I will be. I'm in
Okay.
and out today. So unfortunately, sometimes when you yell for me, I may not be here.
No, you're okay. I'm happy that every now and then you are.
But worst case is I still have to go cook my coffee beans.
Yeah, I'm ready for another cup myself. But all right, Neil. Thank you very much, and
Hey,
I
take care.
I hope you have a great day. And hey, TRK to 27 cents, right?
Well, like I said, I'm still sitting there with that stuff, so it's I'm looking for 27.50 or 28 to sell,
Cool.
and I still have both.
Cool. All right. Well,
I think we're gonna end of the month we'll see an increase there because the number. Well, it was a cold March. It was colder than February, so I think they'll have a surprise increase in natural gas draws.
okay. All right. Well, hopefully they play out because I'm vested. We'll see. But all right.
Well, you guys have fun, or try not to have too much fun.
Oh, we do. I'll catch you later, Neil. Thanks again.
Take care. Bye.
1 second, guys. Dogs have to go outside. All right. I gotta. Good morning to all. I gotta. Oh, did I clip that? Oh, oops.